to the 178th edition of Make Pro Wrestling Majestic again. I am Tiger Height.
And this is weird.
Yeah, so Saturday show, we're going to be watching the Super Bowl. I hope everybody has a fun and safe time if you're watching the game. If not, well, be miserable. I don't care. Now, we're going to go into some drama because I would say there was a little bit, and then I just like to make fun of people. So we're going to do both. Now,
yay. Hooray.
We had a big whistle blow right here with Jimmy Jacobs, who was a two-time AEW employee. I think he was fired and then rehired and then fired again.
My God.
Where he and Tony Khan, because he was actually working pretty close with Tony Khan very early and then still pretty close. Apparently, there were a couple of things that Tony Khan did that really sort of put together everything that we were saying was being correct. But one thing that was surprising to me, well, in a way, was that apparently Tony Khan listens to Jim Cornette's podcast for hours. Now, if it was anybody else, I would probably say, that's a little sketchy. But I feel like there is a little bit of credibility given Jimmy Jacobs' position with the company. He was a higher up in the very early days. I don't know the length of it. Apparently, he also tries to compete with WWE, and he has very interesting mannerisms in how he conducts business, to what I've heard.
Okay.
If you want to go out and search for it yourself, you're more than welcome. There was a lot there to break down. So I just sort of highlighted a couple of them that were like, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Especially the Jim Cornette thing, because you would think of all podcasts.
Right.
He would not be listening to Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette famously does not like Tony Khan.
Exactly.
Or AEW.
Exactly. So it's very strange. I just wonder if he gets pissed. I made this video of this absolute dog shit shirt, and this is an official AEW shirt, 100%.
Why?
It looks AI.
It does.
It looks totally AI generated. Like, okay, they're like, well, it looks like the Joker T-shirt, like with the big face, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's a huge difference. Number one, why did they put him in a box?
Right.
It looks retarded.
It does. It does not look good.
It looks like a sticker. Now, if you made the face bigger and you don't have the dumb box, maybe you can get away with it.
It's weird. It just looks
But
weird.
why a white shirt?
Right.
Of all colors, why white? You think black would look a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
It just looks silly. This is the thumbnail. I thought it was funny. People gave me a lot of crap because I made a separate video about this. And I guess the designer got really mad at me. So for some reason, there's the designer. Her name apparently is ChatGPT or DALL-E.
Right.
One of the two.
Yeah.
This behavior is unacceptable and needs to stop. We will be covering a little bit more, but I wanted to highlight one of Tony Khan's burner accounts. I am convinced that Tony Khan has burner accounts, but once again, we'll get into our main topic where I think we'll disseminate a little bit further into those things because I think that is part of said bite model.
Yes.
But once again, we'll talk about it in a second. I just like highlighting these. This guy has a pillow of Will Ospreay.
Why is there a Will Ospreay pillowcase?
I feel like he custom made it so he can masturbate on it. And don't worry, bro. I have lotion.
Now, the question really is, will he pull out?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm sure that thing just smells awful because of all the dry semen.
Yeah.
Australia. A lot has come out regarding the debacle of this show, where a lot of the Australian fan base believe that they have been ripped off. So
this came from obviously Reddit.
This
so
was,
take everything with a grain of salt. But I have heard people say something.
I've heard it in more places. So Reddit was where it started.
Okay.
On Squared Circle, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest pro wrestling subreddit right now on Reddit. This is very, very in-depth, and I did some investigation myself. Apparently, the marketing in Australia was bolstering this as a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They were going to sell it on pay-per-view in
Right.
Australia.
Right.
So all this bullshit about it not being a pay-per-view is a lie.
Like people were they even advertised it as a pay-per-view.
This was a pay-per-view. You don't do a regular show in a stadium. I don't care if it's a special. You
Right.
don't do it.
Right.
You can get away with Arthur Ashe Stadium because that's a tennis stadium.
Right. It's
So
very
it's
small.
It's smaller already.
Mhm.
How it's constructed is that way.
Mhm.
But what this stadium was not that. This was a soccer stadium.
Mhm.
It's much bigger. There's a lot more room. I mean, I think if I'm not I keep saying that if I'm not mistaken, this is the same stadium that WWE ran the
No.
Elimination Chamber.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Okay.
No.
Was it a bigger, smaller, same size?
It was a bigger one because I think that
It was a
one is
bigger
used,
one.
I think that one is used for Australian rules football. I could be wrong. I have no idea.
Gotcha. And then more evidence that is proving me correct that this is a direct quote from Tony Khan regarding this. This was on their Q1 call where he said it's going to be a big live event. And of course, some television shows, and we're going there versus a normal TV week. You don't.
Right.
This was supposed to be a pay-per-view.
Right.
This is the point. Look at this. While presenting conventional pay-per-views dramatically here, he's talking about this being the debut of Grand Slam that's going to be
as a pay-per-view
Right.
in Australia.
as akin to. I mean, apparently this was supposed to be the first show where Grand Slam was going to be
Yes.
part of the pay-per-view lineup.
Yes.
Where it was going to be a recurring event
Yeah.
like Revolution,
Yeah.
Double or Nothing, etc. This is a quote. I was trying to find the other one where he mentions verbatim Double or Nothing and Revolution, but I
Yeah.
couldn't find it. But this is pretty damn close to it. And that was it for drama.
Yay.
A lot of it was AEW based. A lot of it is because AEW is a mess. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
it is.
And then there was one other thing about AEW that came up later. I don't have a picture for it because I think it happened yesterday.
Mhm.
And that was the arrest of Bear Boulder.
Bear Bronson.
It was one of the two.
It's
So
one of the
it was
two,
one of
yeah.
the two Iron Savages who was arrested
Yeah.
for domestic assault and specifically strangulation.
Yeah, apparently he put his foot on. I think it's a spouse. I could be wrong, but put it on her neck. Like he put his foot on her neck until she lost consciousness.
Oh my God! And the thing is that they're not the smaller guys either.
No, there's a big boy.
Yeah, I mean the Bear Country is what they used to be called.
Mhm.
They were one of the bigger tag teams. So this is crazy.
Yeah,
But I do want to say, at the very least, AEW did the right thing here
they just fired him.
because this was proven to be true.
Mhm.
Unlike Odyssey Jones, who was fired, I believe, unfairly by WWE
Mhm.
because he was never arrested for it. In fact, he got a restraining order against the bitch. So, but this is proof, and I'm like, okay, they did the right thing
Mhm.
here about firing
Oh,
him.
yeah,
you
they did.
don't do that now. If it was like, oh, I slipped and I landed on her,
Yeah.
whatever, but you put your foot on her neck until
Yeah.
she passed out. That is incredibly deliberate, and I can guarantee you, I would put money down that was not the first time that she experienced some sort of physical violence
No,
by this
I
asshole.
think that she's kind of stuck because of the financial situation.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But clearly, now that he has been fired, it's probably going to be a no-brainer for her to just move on.
Please do so.
Right.
I hope they don't have kids. I mean, I really hope not. Anyway, that was all of the drama. Peanut Gallery, we have a little bit of news. Not a lot of
Not
news.
a ton. I try to keep it light around here.
Yep.